Mobile, Alabama doesn't always get the attention that other cities like Birmingham or other southern cities get, but this coastal spot is well worth a visit. A port city located on the Gulf Shore, Mobile has a ton of historical spots, great restaurants, breweries, and attractions. In this video, we're taking a look at some of the best things to do in this Alabama city. So join Viewcation as we present the best things to do in Mobile, Alabama. USS Alabama Battleship Memorial Park. The USS Alabama Battleship Memorial Park is a fantastic place to visit for solo travelers as well as families. The park, which acts as not only a place where visitors can appreciate the nautical wonders of the military, but also to appreciate the courage and resilience of our armed forces. It's a fun and educational spot to spend time at. For starters, you'll be able to walk around the USS Alabama, which was a battleship from the World War II era. It was referred to as Mighty A during those days when it held up to 2,500 sailors in its nearly 43,000 tons of ship weight. The ship was notable for winning 9 battle stars during the war and has always been kept in excellent shape for the viewing public. You also get a great view of the bay while you're aboard. When you finish your tour of the USS Alabama, you can move to the USS Drum, a submarine used during World War II. You and the family will love seeing what it's like to move through the narrow passageways of the sub, imagining what it must be like to live and work on one of these incredible vessels. It had a successful wartime record as well, having sunk 15 ships during the war, as well as garnering 12 battle stars. And if you're a fan of 1980s action movies, you'll enjoy the fact that the film Under Siege was not only filmed on board the USS Drum, but also used the Alabama as a filming location as well. Plan to spend a few hours at the site, though you could end up spending more time if you're enjoying it. There's a self-guided tour that'll allow you to take your time, and after going through the ship and the sub, it takes you to the aircraft pavilion. It hosts 25 military planes from various points in U.S. military history, as well as vehicles and other artifacts. Of particular note is the Blackbird spy plane, and if you're active military, admission to the site is free. Dauphin Street. If you're going to spend any time walking around Mobile, getting to know the city, make sure it's on Dauphin Street. For starters, you'll get a chance to see the varied cultural and international influences that have come together over the years to make up the vibe of Mobile. That's because, as a port city, Mobile has a long history of changing hands since its founding in 1702. It belonged to the Spanish, the French, and the British in various times. And that hodgepodge of influences can still be seen today, especially along Dauphin Street. If you've ever been to Bourbon Street in New Orleans, you'll have a bit of a sense of what to expect. And while Dauphin Street is not quite the big extravaganza that Bourbon Street is, it packs a punch when it comes to ways to enjoy yourself. There are numerous great restaurants and specialty food stores, a bunch of great bars, and various other types of stores. Speaking of New Orleans, you can grab one of the foods that became famous there, the beignet. In Mobile, the best spot to do that is at Mo Bay Beignets, where the beignets are hot, tasty, and memorable. You can eat them plain or top them with syrups and flavors like buttercream and cinnamon. Stop here first to get your sugar fix, giving you some energy to hit up the rest of Dauphin Street. After you've walked around for a while and have worked up an appetite, we recommend checking out Mama's on Dauphin and Loda Beer Garden. Both offer a great variety of excellent southern-infused eats. At Loda, you'll be able to sit inside or at their picnic tables, and if you're a burger lover, you'll be in heaven. They have the best burger in the area. And obviously, you'll be able to grab a cold brew to go along with it. Mama's gives you classic Southern comfort offerings like shrimp and grits, chicken fried steak, and more. As for dinner, head to Winsel's Oyster House, which offers fresh oysters for reasonable prices. Plus, they joined in with other local restaurants to be a part of a program that takes their used oyster shells and recycles them to help fix the oyster reefs that lie along the Alabama coast. Mobile Carnival Museum. When we mentioned the connection between Mobile and New Orleans, it wasn't just because of a shared diversity of cultures and vibe, because while Mardi Gras is a famous New Orleans tradition, it actually started out in Mobile, and it's still celebrated here, as it has been since 1703. So if you're in town during the actual festival, you'll be able to see incredible floats and costumes lining the streets. And if you're there with family, you'll be happy to know that the Mobile version is much more geared towards families than the more debaucherous version in New Orleans. Instead of beads, booze, and toplessness, Mobile streets are filled with floats that feature people throwing much more all-ages fare, like footballs, candy, and frisbees. But if you're there during other parts of the year, you can go to the Mobile Carnival Museum. It features a ton of photos of the yearly event, as well as paraphernalia like robes, scepters, full costumes, and more. It's not as exciting as being there for the real thing, but it's a close second. Bellingrath Gardens and Home. In 1903, Walter Bellingrath opened up a Coca-Cola bottling plant in Mobile, and based on the growth of that soda brand, it should come as no surprise that it made Walter a fortune. But he was also a workaholic and spent long hours at the office. As a result, his wife, Bessie, came up with the idea that they buy a home 30 minutes south of the city that would serve as a fishing camp and relaxation spot for Walter. He agreed, and they bought the property that is now Bellingrath Gardens and Home. They called it Bell Camp, and they spent the next years turning it into a marvel of outdoor flora and gardens. Bessie and Walter also became heroes in the community in times of economic hardship, as Bessie would go from door to door offering cash to anyone willing to give up flowers from their yards. She then took those flowers and planted them at Bell Camp, helping to grow this lavish and resplendent garden. Eventually, she turned it over to the state to make it a public garden, and it's now Alabama's oldest. As such, it's a must-see attraction when you're in the Mobile area. You can stroll through the gardens, checking out the huge variety of foliage, anchored by huge oak, palm, and magnolia trees surrounded by palmettos, camellia, daffodils, and many more floral species. There's a stunning Japanese gardens featuring lily pools, bridges, and more, as well as seasonal festivities like Christmas lighting and more. When you finish wandering the gardens, you can check out the mansion that the Bellingraths called home during their downtime. A guided tour of the house is included in your admission fee, and you'll get to see the inside of this 15-room home that was constructed in 1935. It has a ton of historical charm to it, including the stories of how the handmade bricks were originally in the home of a local millionaire, and the iron was pulled from old buildings in Mobile. The 10,000-square-foot home, which has a Mediterranean-style courtyard, is at once a grand estate and a comfortable southern home. The furniture from 1955, when Walter died, is still in each room and has been preserved beautifully. Plus, you can check out his Coca-Cola collection, which features a letter from the company with the original offer to open his now famous bottling plant. Craft breweries. If you're a beer enthusiast, you'll be pleased to know that Mobile has an array of excellent breweries making excellent craft beer. You can start at Iron Hand Brewery in the Dauphin Square neighborhood, which not only serves up great beer, but also looks really cool. It was set up to look like a cabin, and you can play board games while you relax and taste their wares. Another great option is Serta Brewery. It has a German focus, brewing their own versions of traditional Bavarian styles. They often have food trucks parked outside, so you can enjoy a nice meal while tasting the beer, and it's one of the best breweries if you're looking to feel the energy of a fun crowd while tasting great beer. Braided River Brewery is right downtown and is the new kid on the block. But that hasn't stopped it from becoming one of the premier beer spots in the area. Their stouts in particular are definitely worth checking out. Now it's time to hear from you. Have you ever been to Mobile, Alabama? If so, did we miss any of your favorite spots? And if not, do you think you'll ever get there? Let us know in the comments section below.